I'm gonna just manliness. What does it mean to be a man? I don't know, because I'm pretty soft, so. Today I'm going to be reading an article that was originally published in the Dyspraxia and Life magazine. It was written by my friend Tom Myob. The article is called Dyspraxia and Masculinity. So we're gonna see what it means to be a man when you're dyspraxic. I'm not really sure if those two things really mix in my life, but then again, I didn't grow up in an environment where I had a strong sense of masculinity, I guess, in the sense that, it wasn't like my dad was one of those, just strict, you men gotta be men, my boys gotta be tough, because my dad was an artsy type, he didn't, he didn't care about that stuff as far as I could tell. I think that this article has more to do with sort of dating. So yeah, I'm just going to read this and hope you enjoy. We're gonna learn some things along the way. So, let's go. Emasculate. Definition: to deprive a man of his male role or identity. Emasculate. I think that's what he meant. This is a sensitive topic and everyone will have a different perspective, so please bear in mind that you may disagree emphatically. Dyspraxic ladies, I appreciate it is no picnic for you, as application of makeup and walking and eating daintily and gracefully is not an easy thing. Think David Williams' character, Eddie Howard from Little Britain. Since I'm American, this is just one of the programs that I am not familiar with. If you subscribe to traditionally held gender roles, then being a guy with dyspraxia is no picnic. You may not be able to drive, and things like DIY may send you into a cold sweat. Equally past school sports day trauma might mean you're not the sporty type and couldn't care about the transfer deadline or the match on TV last night. Being unable to talk knowledgeably or confidently about such things can have a detrimental effect on our self-esteem and confidence to compete with others, and we can start to think, what is the point? I'm not great at DIY, but like to have a go. But obviously I steer clear of things like chainsaws and circular saws, many different kinds of saws. I was a bit upset when a friend laughed at the fact that I had gotten a set of screwdrivers one Christmas. But screw him! Go ahead. I want to at least try and defy the notion of my not being able to do DIY. I've done battle with flat packs, and while the size and foul language may be frequent, I usually prevail. Not driving is a sore point for me, as my visual impairment means I'm condemned to the indignity and vagaries of public transport, and sadly people see it as a major minus point if you don't have the wheels. I can manage a bike, but that doesn't seem to cut it. Still, I say it demonstrates commitment if you have braved public transport for a long walk to go and meet a date. I once lost out on a date as I was told by my prospective date that I'd been with some friends to see some rare daffodils. Who'd have thought that showing my sensitive side and interest in nature would prompt the reaction that she now didn't think she wanted to know me? Wow. Some women really are like that, huh? Perhaps she thought I'd steal her best frock and ruin her high heels as I gaily skipped through the daffodils, tearing them from the ground, scandalizing everyone, including the local wildlife trust, whose special sight it was. I still think I had a lucky escape, but maybe I should have just lied and said I was going out to kill and eat woodland creatures before or after downing a 9-pint of wife-beater and picking a fight with a bear. If you have been affected by this article, please seek support. The campaign against miserably. www.thecalmzone.net. The Samaritans, mind, or someone who will listen. Compensation, unfortunately, cannot and will not be paid for split sides. Tom was diagnosed with dyspraxia circa 1988 by an educational psychologist around about the time the Dyspraxia Foundation was founded. Nobody bothered to explain it to him. or possibly just as likely he wasn't or wouldn't have listened. About 20 years later, it was all explained to him, and he started to understand that it was more than just his visual impairment, and he became less hard on himself for his perceived failures, but is still a frustrated perfectionist who never took up transvestism either. You and me both, buddy. But one day we'll get there together. We'll be the daintiest looking ladies at the ball, walking down with our strides and our high heels. Of course, we'll eventually fall on our faces because dyspraxics should not be walking around in high heels. So I kind of understand where he's coming from. You know, there are certain women who they care a lot about masculinity. It's just true, and I've known a lot of guys who they have suffered from this, where it's like, oh, they'll be talking to a woman, and then they'll get to know them, and the woman might be a bit attracted to them, and then they show some sort of vulnerability after a while, and then the woman just suddenly decides that she wants nothing to do with the guy. Unfortunately, there are some women who are like that, and they do care way too much about masculinity, and I think some guys, you know, they have a compulsive need to seem masculine all the time. But because that's never been a priority of mine, that's never been something I've cared about, the type of women who really give a crap about that sort of thing are not really the type of women that I usually go for. And there are women who could care less about those things. I know that there's some people who say that, you know, as an evolutionary trait, all women just need to be with a man. And it's not that I'm, you know, super flamboyant or, you know, just so in touch with my feminine side that I'm practically, you know, dickless. But it's true that there are women out there who, they just want a nice, you know, well-respectable guy who will care about them, and, you know, it's just not the most important thing. And it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what gender we are or how much we fit into that gender. What matters is that we remain true to ourselves. So that's just my take on it. And I think that in Tom's case, he was definitely better off without that woman. I mean, if a guy can't, you know, walk through a field of daffodils without being criticized, then I don't want to live in this world. You know, what's wrong with daffodils? You know, it's the manly flower. It's the flower of men. The daffodils. What kind of flowers do you find masculine? Thorny roses? What is it? I mean, you know, what does it matter? What does any of this matter? It's pointless. It's pointless. Get over it. Get over yourself. It's kind of like how, you know, some girls can't be tomboys, you know. Why not? You know, if you want to dress like a man, I don't mind if a girl wears cologne or whatever. Who cares? Who cares? Just be yourselves. You know? I'm always myself, and I hate it. I hate being myself. I wish I could be anybody else. But I am stuck with who I am. Anyway, I don't really have any other takeaway from this, but thank you, Tom, for providing me with the article. And if there's anything that you would like me to read on camera, then I will be happy to do so. So until next time, please subscribe, and you will see more content from me. And then there will be a period of time where you will not see any content from me because I do not want to focus on anything that I am outputting. But then I'll get back into it randomly, and, you know, that's just generally how it goes. So, thank you.